Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. We appreciate you guys as you get your notifications, and we want to say hello, if we can, to our dear friends that race. Hi, Andrea, you're number one this morning on the hip parade. Lucille. Brahim, right at the top. Nellie, good morning. And Lisa, nice to have you on. Hi, Sandy, Fergus Falls, Minnesota. Much appreciated. Hi, Rosalinda, Niagara Falls. Maria from Ottawa. Paula Joe. How are you? Louise, good morning. And Brahim's having his coffee. Shelley, Sherwood Park, Alberta. Kristen, Saskatchewan. Judy, New Brunswick. Carol, West Virginia. Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. There's Nick. How are you, Nicole? Frida. Wendy from Markham. Kevin, there he is, Oshawa. And Brahim says he loves me. I love you too, bud. Yvette, Nashville, how are you? Madeleine, Kippawa, Quebec, Roxanne, Diane, how are you? In Peterborough, Gail, rainy Mount Pearl. Well, it's sunny here in Sudbury. Patricia, we finally got the memo. Patricia's from Florida. Linda, New Brunswick, and I think it was Helga. Well, Helga and Dave in Scarborough. Lisa Marie, I missed somebody there. I know I did. Yvette says she's visiting Nashville. There you go. Louise, Etta, Joan, Blind River, Johanna, Kingsland, Georgia. Wanda in Ridgeway. Wanda in Virginia. Imagine two Wandas in a row. Janice from Brampton, Dennis from Norwich, Adeline, how are you this morning? Micheline, Sturgeon Falls, Bonnie, Little Britain, and Wendy from Aylmer, Sue, how is you? From Bolton, Mary, Cape Breton, Millica, I know where you're from, Millica, Stouffville, Shirley, Twin Gate, Newfoundland, John, how are you? Maureen, there you are, from Boca Raton. Yolande, I was waiting for you. Good morning. Carol, Mount Pearl, Newfoundland, and Gloria's in New York. Janice, how are you? Carol, Wasaga Beach. Well, you'll be swimming soon. Cindy, Ashley, Anna, Annette, and Rita. Good morning. Karen in Innisfil. And Simon, also in Sturgeon Falls. Hi, John. There's our friend from Elgin. I almost said Elgin. Brandon, Scott, Cape Cod. Oh, beautiful, Massachusetts. Okay. Okay, hi, Cheryl. Hi, Karen. Hi, Catherine. Okay, let's get going. Guys, okay. I was reading something on the weekend about the PET scan. Okay, somebody posted they got diagnosed with cancer from the PET scan. So PET scans are not for your pets. They're mainly for cancer detection. I want to tell you how that imaging was invented, okay? So, how was it invented? Well, it came from, okay, a researcher was reading Otto Warburg and his work. Now, Otto Warburg was a German scientist that in 1928 talked about what they called the Warburg effect, which was fermentation. Cancer is ravenous and it loves glucose. Okay? And in 1931, Otto Warburg won a Nobel Prize for that work. But then it got buried. World War II, the big pharmaceutical companies getting involved now in cancer, and it got buried. But this one researcher said, I wonder if we can develop, because of the Warburg effect, imaging for cancer. So they gave radioactive sugar, radioactive glucose, okay? And they followed it in imaging. And you know what they found? The glucose, the sugar, went right to the cancer. So you could look at the entire body and you'd find out where that sugar would go to in imaging with radioactive sugar, glucose. And to his amazement, what did he find? The sugar goes right to the tumor. You want to know if you got a tumor? Add sugar. The sugar will go right to it. Okay? So here we are. It's 2026. Okay? This was done in the PET scans, okay, were developed several years ago. I remember I live in Northern Ontario, and the hospital here was clamoring for a PET scan. And I remember one of the oncologists, okay, I have the article. I have the article. You want to wait for a second? Let me read it to you. I should have got this ready, but I just thought about it. I got that article. Okay? Let me just see if I can get it up quickly. If I can get it up fast, I'll do it. If I can't, well, I won't. Okay. Let me just see here. And I'm going to go to my research. Let me just press this. If I can do it. Because collections and research, here we go. Let me see, because I'll actually read it to you, okay? If I can get it quickly. There's my research. And let me see. I know I have it in here because I saved it. Okay. It was actually an article in the our hometown newspaper, okay? And I saved this. This is years ago. Come on, where is it? Here it is. Hey, guys, your senior citizen, your favorite senior citizen, found something. Usually when I touch anything on a screen, bad things happen. But I found it, okay? Now, this is an article in the Sudbury Star. Let me read it to you. Both PET scans, this is quoting an oncologist, okay, who's screaming for the PET scans to be included in Sudbury, because we got a big cancer center here, okay? A CT scan gives an exquisite picture of anatomy, But if it sees a mass, it has almost no ability to determine if that mass is scar tissue or cancer or something else, he said. But in the case of a PET scan, the cornerstone of imaging management for more than a decade. This is July 10th, 2024. No, this is when I copied it. Originally, this article came out in May of 2019. Okay, listen to what it says. The cornerstone of imaging management for more than a decade. Okay, that's PET scan, but it's not in Sudbury yet. We use radioactive glucose, and cancers tend to stand out because cancer cells need a lot of glucose to work. I get a migraine. This is 2019. Sudbury clamoring for a PET scan, which they have now. They give you radioactive glucose because, quote, here's what he says, cancers tend to stand out because cancer cells need a lot of glucose to work. Okay. Let me, you and I are going to follow here for a minute. Okay. A pretend patient. Okay. We're going to follow a pretend patient for a minute. They go to a cancer center. They get imaging, a PET scan. They're given radioactive glucose. Either drink it or IV. Okay? The cancer lights up like a Christmas tree. Okay? Now they got their imaging from the radiologist who gets paid a fortune to read the results. Then they're sent down to the oncologist if they see something. And the oncologist now explains, oh, we found cancer, and here are your options for treatment. This happens rapidly, guys. I never seen anything like it. Like you got to wait for a year to get an operation most of the time. But when they see cancer, I mean, they bombard you within, it seems like minutes. Now you got to make a decision. Now we found cancer. Now we got the treatment, and here's your options. And you can barely ask questions. Okay? So that's the cancer industry. And then, if you get to see a dietitian, okay? Because sometimes they do that. Here's what they say. Go home, okay? You got cancer. It's almost like they don't understand the PET scan. They forgot that. That's been totally forgotten. You've been diagnosed. You have cancer. Now go home, eat oatmeal every day. Have orange juice. Oh, make sure you get all your grains. Right? You want to have your grains, pasta grains, bread grains, because you need your fiber, right? There's no talk about eliminating sugar. I remember having a conversation with an oncologist. I've told you this story before, but I got to tell you it again. She's mad at me. What did you tell my patient? Okay, who had breast cancer. I said, wait a minute. I'm the one that referred her to you. Well, what's diet got to do with anything? I said, do you have a PET scan at your cancer center? She said, yes. I said, do you know how it works? No. You're an oncologist. They feed them sugar. That's how they find out where the cancer is. That's what a PET scan does. And then you don't talk about diet. Well, if you do, you give them the wrong advice. Oatmeal spikes your blood sugar in nanoseconds. It's one of the worst things you can eat. Any kind of bread. It's just sugar molecules holding hands. You got cancer, it's feeding the cancer. And you're mad at me? I sent you that patient. I was the one who suspected she had breast cancer. And I told her even before she saw you to eliminate sugar. I told her how to dim out her estrogen. Well, how did you know it was estrogen receptive? I said, every cancer is estrogen receptive. I'm sure she thought she was talking to a Looney Tune. I said, every cancer is receptive to estrogen. Estrogen is a growth hormone. In men, the prostate. In women, breast, ovarian, uterine, you name it. Estrogen is a growth hormone. And I said, so is insulin. You don't want to feed it, do you? Whoa, what is diet? What has diet got to do with cancer? How does the PET scan work? I'm reading this article on the weekend and I get a migraine. We're in 2026 and 99% of every physician you ever talk to still does not link food with cancer. Genetics. Your mother, your grandmother had breast cancer. That's why you got it. They just don't link food. They don't put it in. They don't read Otto Warburg. I read about him. He won a Nobel Prize. And then it got buried. The food industry hate me. They do. They don't like me. You have to eat, guys. Okay? And this is why when I wrote the book, Sun, Steak, and Steel, in the chapter on steak, I said, cancer hates steak. You see, here's what they do, okay? Even gurus, here's what they do. Because they gotta blame steak somehow. Okay? Here's what they do. Well, okay, you've got glucose. So they'll admit that. I'm talking about gurus, okay? They'll admit sugar's no good. But then there's a byproduct, okay? And they talk about that glutamine. And they said, you see, that's steak. No, it's not. No, it's not. Glutamine is a side effect or an effect of the Warburg effect of fermentation. Cancer works on the basis of fermentation. And glutamine is just a byproduct of that, but it does nothing to do with food except sugar. So guys, I'm not saying we can cure cancer strictly with diet, but if you want to give yourself the best chance, if you do nothing else, no sugar. Get rid of it. And I've always linked insulin and insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome, that cancer is a metabolic disease. And the proof in the pudding is that cancer is worse than ever. It's worse than ever. That's cancer. And so is heart disease. It's not better. It's worse. In spite of all the gazillions of dollars that are raised by the Cancer Society, and we just went through breast cancer, and everyone's wearing pink on Mother's Day for cancer. And look, who wants cancer? Who hasn't been affected by cancer in the family? Come on. It's rampant. Guys, I get a migraine because I know what happens. They see the oncologist, okay? And then they're put into a system, they're put into a box, and the treatment is chemo, radiation, and Ensure. Or Boost. In my radio days, I used to say, when you drink Ensure, you're ensuring your cancer will grow. When you drink Boost, it will boost your cancer cells. The people thought I was crazier than a hoot owl. I said, well, don't drink. You can't. The worst thing you can do is drink sugar. That's what they do in the PET scan. You drink glucose, and in nanoseconds, you light up like your tumor lights up like a Christmas tree. Drinking. And what do? They go home. Well, make sure you drink orange juice. You need that. It's good for you. You need. And then they know nothing about vitamins, and yet they'll say, well, you drink your orange juice because you got some vitamin C in there. Like, it's migraine producing. And our system it's so narrow, and they never think outside the box. And now they're adding immunotherapy and stuff like that. Good for them, really, okay? But they still don't talk about food except steak. They want you to stop it. They want you to stop eating red meat. It's like a religion with them. They don't even know what they're talking about. Cancer hates steak. It hates it. And tumors, by the way, okay, here's another thing they hate. DHA. They hate it. It's a Trojan horse for them. Anyway, I figured I better talk about this because I read about it the other day. And I said, man, I gotta talk about it. Okay. Okay. The Warburg effect. It's so amazing. Guys, look. Medicine is into detection. Okay? Medicine is into detection. There's that industry, the cancer industry, is into detection so that they can put people into the system. Okay? I'm not against detection. The problem with some of the things they do with detection, early detection, is that they put a lot of people into cancer treatments and with biopsies. You know, like your body has a protective mechanism against cancer. It puts a sheath around it. It encapsulates it. And they want to go and, put needles in there to extract tissue in a biopsy. Your body has encapsulated it, and they want to break the capsule. I know I'm not popular when it comes to that, but I don't necessarily like that, okay? I don't. Leave it alone. Anyway, okay? I don't want to get into that too much because that's controversial. But should sugar be controversial? Like, I'm more not into detection, but prevention. If we know that sugar feeds cancer, well, let's cut it out. Let's minimize it. If we know, like, cancer hates steak, even though, the people on the broad road are going to say opposite of that. Because here's what I hear. Cancer loves steak. You know why? Because steak is acidic. Ooh, I get a migraine. I want to lose it. Steak's not acidic. It's not acidic. Your body buffers it. Coffee is acidic. There's a new study out. Coffee and esophageal cancer, which is a rapid growing cancer today. And they're saying, you know what? Coffee is one of the best things you can drink for throat cancer. Hello? Yeah, but it's acidic. No. Not when you drink it. It may be acidic in your cup, but once you drink it, your body releases baking soda. It becomes alkaline. You know what's acidic? Sugar is. and you can't make it alkaline. You learn that in day one of biochemistry. And they forget it. Don't eat red meat, whatever you do. Bacon will kill you. And 90-something% of the population still believe that. And every doctor in the universe just about believes that. Bacon bad, oatmeal good. Not for cancer, it ain't. Oatmeal ain't good. Okay, I get excited. I'm so proud of myself. I found that article. May the 23rd, 2019. In the Sudbury Star. I'm so shocked by it. I usually can't find anything. Okay. Okay, guys. We got a good week. We got some real good studies here. I got, something new on Alzheimer's. We'll talk about that. Got some good stuff. Okay. Okay, guys. Already I'm talking ahead of time. Q&A is Friday. So send your questions in. Okay? Get them in. Thank you for following us. We appreciate it. You have no idea how much we appreciate it. Thank you for the feedback. We love you guys. Talk to you soon.